Welcome back to World Traveler Cooking, the show where we cover interesting cuisines and interesting dishes from around the world. Today, we're going to make Daging Asam Pedas in the Padang-style. Padang is a city in West Sumatra, which is relatively famous for its food. And though I'm going to use a lot of pre-ground spices, the fact is that these could also be ground, and I'll show you basically how I'm going to do it, even with the ones that aren't ground yet. So, this is, as the name suggests, well, literally means hot, spicy, sour beef, or sour, spicy meat. And normally we use beef shank for this. So, get a kilogram of beef shank, not including bones. Keeping the marrow bones in it's actually really good, but nobody here does that. I just know this because I've had it elsewhere. And then to this we'll add all of our spices and basically just boil it until it's soft. So our ingredients today, we have 8 candlenuts, 8 lime leaves. Now, here people will usually get fresh leaves, but if they dry, then you'll use them dried. 3 to 4 garcinia, sour fruit. These you probably can't find outside Indonesia. So, 2 ways that you could make an acceptable substitute, in my view. The first one is to use blocks of tamarind. Blocks of tamarind are a lot more sour than fresh tamarind. So if you get the blocks of preserved tamarind, those can work okay. You'll have to experiment around with the volume just a little bit. And finally, if you can't get blocks of tamarind, lime juice works surprisingly well. So that would be my list of appropriate substitutes there. To this we will add 10 cloves of garlic, and in Indonesian terms, 15 of these small shallots. In Western terms, you'd probably use about 4. We'll also use about basically 2 inches worth of, that's like 5 centimeters worth of turmeric, galangal, and ginger. I have them pre-ground, so that's going to make my life a little easier. If you don't have them pre-ground, you can basically pound them with a rock a bit before throwing them in the food processor to pulverize and puree with the rest of our seasonings. And then I have some already ground red chili pepper. Traditionally you'd probably use whole. You can grind it on an ulek, or you can puree it in a blender or a food processor. I'm going to use a food processor for the stuff I don't have pureed today. So my first step here is going to be peeling all of this garlic and stuff. And then we'll put it in the food processor and we will puree we will puree the candlenuts. I guess I'm going to move the candlenuts over here to keep them separate because we won't be pureeing the rest of this. Along with the alliums, a bit of salt and a bit of sugar, and then the ginger, galangal, and turmeric. So I have added my candlenuts, peeled the garlic and the shallots and put it in here. Along with my ginger, turmeric, and galangal. Next I'll use a hand blender and I'll just pulverize it all and then I'll be back. So after pulverizing everything together, I get this sort of nice paste, which I will cook in the standard Indonesian sort of frying the spices way in a moment. So I wanted to show this to you first. This is the consistency we're looking for. Again, there may be a little noise in the background, but I guess we'll have to live with that. So into our hot wok, we will add up 2 tablespoons of cold oil. And then into this, we will add our spice mixture. And I'll add the chili peppers in a moment. I haven't added them yet, just because I want to be able to correct a little more with them. So particularly the turmeric benefits from being cooked. Now this is not like Indian food. We're not trying to infuse the oil. Instead, we're just trying to cook the spices. It's different. So I'm going to Stir this around a little bit, let the turmeric start to cook, and then I will start to throw in some chili pepper. Okay, so I've added my chili peppers, and I'm going to go ahead and stir. I can add more chili peppers if I need to. And once this is really fragrant, which won't take all that long, then we will add our meat to this, and then the water. So, in goes the meat, and this is half of it. In goes a liter of water, or 4 cups if you want to use American. Remember, it will cook down a little bit. We may have to add more as it boils, so that's all right. And some people will also do this in a pressure cooker. I'm not going to today. It does take significantly longer if you don't use a pressure cooker. So in go these. Be back with more pieces. Into this mixture we will add our lemongrass, our lime leaves, our 4 dal salam. Remember, you can use bay leaves instead of that. And our sour fruit. Instead of the sour fruit, remember, blocks of tamarind or even lime juice will work. So now we're going to just bring this to a boil, and we're going to let it slowly cook and stew until this meat gets tender. And since this is shank, that will take a while. So plan on this taking some hours. So it's been a bit over 2 hours. The meat is starting to look pretty tender. And so I've let the sauce boil until it's nice and thick. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a taste test. And now for the taste test. Being here in Indonesia, you can hear the call for prayer perhaps in the background. That's normal at this time of day. But this is looking really good. It's tender enough I can cut it with a spoon, which is right. And now I'm going to just try a little bit of the meat. The meat is rich. It's definitely okay in terms of the salt department. Maybe a little bit too much salt, but not much. You have a rich spice combination on it. Very nice. Now I'm going to try a little bit of the rice with some of the sauce on it. That tastes exactly like it should. You taste the sourness, the spices, the chili peppers, etc. Now, I didn't make this super spicy today, but you could always make it spicier by adding more chili pepper, or if it's too spicy for you, you can cut down the chili pepper a bit. Yeah, this came out great. Now, if you find this content interesting, you'd like to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to, if you have anything to say about this video or this dish, please let me know in the comments. Recipes in the description. Bon appetit, and see you next week.